Okay, everyone, I see a few people have already joined in. So let's get started. Welcome, folks. Welcome to another Learn with Mudrex session. Thank you so much for being here this Sunday afternoon. Whether you're joining us for the very first time or you've been part of our past webinars, I'm really, really happy to have you here. I know your time is valuable, so I truly appreciate you choosing to spend the next hour or so with me. If this is your first time tuning into the Learn with Mudrex series, here's a quick idea of what to expect. These sessions are designed to help you get comfortable with the world of crypto. We break things down in a very simple way so that anyone, regardless of your experience in the sector, can start investing or trading with confidence. Uh, but more than just a sort of one-way session, this is meant to be a conversation. So towards the end, we'll actually open up the floor for questions. And I encourage you all to ask anything. It doesn't have to be big or small. No question is too basic here. So these sessions are really meant for everybody to get involved. Um, Also, at the end of the day, we're not just talking about crypto. We are building a learning community, one that grows together, shares knowledge, and also builds wealth along the way. And if there's one thing I've learned from being in this space, it's that opportunities in crypto are truly, truly limitless. You just need the right tools and the mindset to spot them. All right. So let's get into the session. And before I get into what we're going to be talking about today, uh, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Anush, and I'm at the research team at Mudrex. I've been in the crypto space for about the past 6 years now. And let me tell you, things were very, very different back then. When I first got started, we didn't have the kind of tools, platforms, or easy access to crypto that we do today. It was a lot harder to navigate. And when it comes to the market itself, it was completely different. Since then, we've seen thousands of new projects or tokens enter the scene. And more surprisingly, we've also seen institutions and even governments are now getting involved with crypto. Um, Over these years as well, I've seen coins shoot up and just as much crash as well. That's the nature of crypto, though. It moves really quickly. But one thing I've learned again and again is that the best opportunities always show up when market sentiment is neutral or low. And I truly believe that's exactly where we are right now. Retail investors have not yet entered the markets. And that's why this session is very, very crucial for everyone here to pay attention to. All right. All right. So let's get into it. And before I do, I am going to give you a quick disclaimer as well. Just note that this content is primarily for educational purposes, although I am going to be giving you some altcoin picks towards the end of the session. Do not treat this as financial advice or any sort of investment advice. This is purely educational, and I urge everybody here to do their own research. All right. Cool. So now coming on to today's session, we're going to be diving into something really, really important. It's going to be on how to spot undervalued altcoins. Put simply, we're going to learn how to find strong crypto projects that are trading at a discount. You might be wondering why even bother with altcoins? Why not just stick to Bitcoin? It's safer, right? And honestly, that's a fair question. Bitcoin is a solid choice, but here's the thing. While Bitcoin might be the foundation of your portfolio, having exposure to well-researched altcoins can unlock some serious upside. We're talking about life-changing returns in some cases as well. All right. Now, people often say, hey, you got lucky, with that altcoin pick. But honestly, more often than not, it's not luck. It's research, it's effort, it's the hours spent reading white papers, checking tokenomics, looking at charts, and understanding market sentiment. And that's exactly what this session is here to help you with. We're going to go through a step-by-step framework that will help you answer questions like, does the project actually solve a real-world problem? Is the token priced fairly? What are the on-chain numbers saying? In other sense, is there real usage or is it just hype? And from a technical standpoint, are we at a good entry point? We'll also look at some warning signs, how to avoid some risky coins as well towards the end. All right. So let's get the session underway. And let's start out with, why is this webinar especially important right now? This is very simple because the markets finally are showing signs of life again. After months of sideways price action, we're starting to see a real shift that's taking place. Many altcoins have broken key resistance levels, some have flipped their downtrends, and others are also approaching major breakout zones. So the charts are really telling a different story now, and it's just not noise. One of the biggest signs that I must place emphasis on is Bitcoin dominance is coming down. Now, if you're not familiar with this metric, it's basically the percentage of total crypto market cap that belongs to Bitcoin. When dominance is high, it means most of the capital is parked in Bitcoin, usually during times of fear or uncertainty. But when that dominance starts to drop, it's a clear sign that capital or money is rotating into altcoins. And that's when things start to get really, really interesting for altcoin investors. Here's something else that's worth noting as well. A golden cross just flashed on the total altcoin market cap chart. That's when the 50-day moving average crosses above the 200-day, something that often signals a long-term bullish trend. The last time this happened was 4 years ago. And what followed was absolutely remarkable. The altcoin market exploded more than 150x. So these are early signals that the next major move may already be underway. And that's exactly why this session matters. Because the best time, and this is some sage advice as well, the best time to do research and prepare isn't after everything has pumped or blown up. It's really before, when prices are still relatively low, when people are cautious or distracted. That's really when opportunities quietly start forming. In every past cycle that I've seen, the biggest winners, the 10x, the 50x, maybe even the 100x coins, were usually found during these early moments, not at the peak, not during the hype, but when nobody was actually paying attention to the project. And that's exactly what we're going to be focusing on today. We're not here to chase the latest hype coin. I'm not going to be suggesting any sort of hype coin at all or following any sort of Twitter trends. We're here to build a real investing framework. So when the market truly turns, you are already positioned. You already have the capital in the right place. You'll have a list of strong, undervalued projects, and more importantly, the confidence to act and when to act. And that's the whole point of Learn with Mudrex. We're here to help you become a smarter, more strategic investor, no matter where we are in the cycle. One thing before we begin, if you're new to crypto or some of the terms sound unfamiliar, don't worry. I'll just keep this very simple, and feel free to drop your questions in the chat as well. I'll try to get to them as many as I can during the end of the session. We'll have a dedicated Q&A session of around a half an hour to even more than that if you guys have more questions. So keep them ready and let's jump in now. All right. So let's start. We're going to begin by understanding why the crypto markets have been rallying since the start of May. So, after months of uncertainty and sideways movement, we have seen a significant shift in momentum lately. And it's not just coming from within the crypto space. What is the primary reason for this? Really, it's because of a major development on the global economic stage. The United States and China have agreed to a 90-day pause on escalating their trade war, significantly reducing tariffs on both sides, right? On May 12th, Trump actually announced a total reset in US-China relations following negotiations that they had in Geneva. As part of this agreement, the US reduced tariffs on Chinese imports from 145% to 30, while China cut its tariffs on US goods from 125% to just 10%. Now, the natural question is, why does this matter for crypto? Well, the simple answer is global trade tensions and high tariffs create uncertainty in financial markets. Usually, when tariffs are high, they can slow down economic growth, disrupt supply chains as well, and also increase costs for businesses and consumers. So, this uncertainty often leads investors to move away from assets like cryptocurrencies or even equities into safer investments like gold, right? Uh, the easing of trade tensions between the two countries has restored some confidence in the global economy. As a result, investors are more willing to take on the risk, leading to increased buying in the crypto markets. So Bitcoin, for instance, now it's currently trading at around $103,000. It even reached a peak of close to 105,000 following the announcement. But it's not just Bitcoin that's benefiting. Altcoins and the entire altcoin sector has seen absolutely significant gains. Ethereum, for example, which is the second largest cryptocurrency, climbed by more than 40% over the past week. Currently, I think it's trading at around $2,400, $2,500, right? This broad-based rally suggests that positive sentiment is actually going throughout the crypto market. Now, let's start with the basics. What are altcoins? You've probably heard the word altcoins thrown around a lot, but what does it actually mean? In very, very simple terms, altcoins are any cryptocurrency that's not Bitcoin. So while Bitcoin was the first and it's still the biggest in terms of market cap, there are thousands, if not millions, of other coins out there that do different things. And those are what we call altcoins, right? Some of the well-known altcoins are Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Litecoin, many others. Others are smaller, newer projects you may have never heard of, but that doesn't mean they're not worth looking into. All right. Now let's actually talk about why altcoins tend to offer much more returns than, say, Bitcoin. Okay. Firstly, they're building for a specific use case. This is one of the biggest reasons altcoins can go up in value significantly. They're trying to solve specific real world problems. And the key word there is real world problems. All right. It's not just any problem that thousands of cryptocurrencies are trying to solve. This is a very niche, very specific problem that needs a solution to, right? So let me give you a few examples. Ethereum. Think of Ethereum as a kind of world computer. It lets developers build apps directly on its blockchain network. These aren't your day-to-day apps like you use today. Uh, these are decentralized applications or dApps for short. They don't rely on a single company or a server. For example, you can lend or borrow money, trade tokens, or even play games all in a decentralized environment built on top of Ethereum. All right. Solana is another example. Solana is like Ethereum, but aims to be much faster and cheaper to use. It's been popular for apps where speed really matters, like high frequency trading or also gaming. Let me give you another example as well. Chainlink. This one is trying to solve the problem of getting real world data into the blockchain. For example, how would a smart contract know what the current weather is or the price of gold? Chainlink helps with that problem, right? So unlike Bitcoin, which is mostly used as a kind of digital gold or a store of value, altcoins are often focused on building actual products and services. And if those services get adopted, the tokens that actually power them grow up in or grow very, very quickly in value, right? Now, let me tell you also why, another factor that really helps in altcoins growing up. They're smaller, and also their market cap is a driving force to why such coins grow very fast. All right. Bitcoin has a huge, huge market cap, meaning there's already a lot of money in it. So for it to double in price, it would actually need a massive amount of new money coming in. Altcoins, on the other hand, are often still in the early stages. Because they're smaller, even a small wave of demand can push the price up a lot. That's why you sometimes you'll hear about altcoins doing a 5x or a 10x in a very short span of time. Of course, the flip side is that they can also fall just as fast. So risk is higher too. Next, you can get in early. Altcoins give you a chance to invest early in what could become the next big thing. Think of it like this, right? If you had invested in Apple or Amazon back in the early 2000s, you'd be sitting on huge gains right now. In crypto, altcoins are like those early stage startups. If you find one with a strong idea or a good team and real adoption, you get in early, the returns can be life changing. But again, that's if you do your research. This isn't about buying random tokens and like hoping for the best. We'll talk about how to research them properly in the next part of this session as well. And this is a very overlooked point as well. They often have very strong communities behind them. These aren't just people who invested, they're people who believe in the project, who share updates, write guides, create content, and of course, support each other. A strong and active community can really help a project grow. It builds trust, it attracts developers, and it shows that there's actually real interest beyond just the price. Um, Now, you might be wondering, why is it so hard to find undervalued altcoins? And why did I emphasize earlier that doing your homework really matters? Well, the answer is actually very, very simple. The number of altcoins in today's market has exploded over the past year. Just take a look at the chart on this slide, for example. Back during the last bull run in 2021, we had around 3 million tokens in existence. Today, that number is close to 42 million tokens. That's a jump of almost 14x in just a few years. Why did this happen? It's largely because of token launch platforms that you might have come across, like Pump.fun and Moonshot as well. These platforms essentially have made it very, very easy for anybody to launch their own token, no coding required. So this is a very big reason for why we've seen a massive increase in altcoins. Um, while that sort of accessibility sounds great on the surface, it's actually a really big challenge. The market right now is flooded. For every one or two strong, legitimate projects, there are thousands of coins with no real purpose or long-term plan. So this is exactly why research is so important, and blindly following hype or social media trends does not work anymore. You need to know what to look for and how to filter out the noise. All right, now let's actually get into the session's core points on how to find undervalued altcoins. After this section of the session, I will be going on to actually giving you the list of alts that you should be looking at this point in the market cycle. All right. Okay. First up, fundamental analysis. I'm sure most of you would have heard this term before. Uh, there are a few key areas we're going to cover, starting with this. Uh, I know this term fundamental analysis might sound a bit heavy, but trust me, it's not as complicated as it seems. And once you understand it, it'll become one of your most valuable tools as a crypto investor or trader. In simple terms, fundamental analysis is about understanding the true value of a project beyond just the price of its token. Instead of asking, is this coin pumping? You're asking, what does this project do? Is it solving a real problem? Who is building it? And is there long-term potential? Right? Think of it like this. If you were investing in a startup, you wouldn't just look at their stock price. You would want to know what they're building, who the founders are, whether they've raised funding, and whether their product has real demand. That's what we're doing just in the world of crypto. All right. So let's break it down into four main things you should look at when evaluating a project fundamentally. What is the real world problem that they're trying to solve, right? In crypto, projects can range from solving financial problems to helping with data storage, identity, gaming, you name it. There's a lot of use cases. But the key thing to ask Is this something people or businesses actually need? For example, a DeFi protocol might be helping people borrow and lend money without a middleman, without banks. If the project is solving a real relevant problem and doing it in a unique way, that's a very, very good sign and it's a green flag, right? Next, how does it stand out versus its competitors? What makes the project different, right? Let's say if you're looking at a new layer one blockchain, uh, the there are already a ton out there. Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Sui are some examples. So what makes this one special is the question you need to be asking. Is it faster? Is it cheaper? Is it more developer friendly? Does it actually solve scalability issues that others haven't checked, right? If a project is just a copy paste of something else, it's going to struggle to gain traction. But if it offers a real edge, that's when it becomes interesting. Okay. Next, who's behind the project? This one's big. The team matters a lot. Just like you wouldn't back a startup without knowing who's running it, you don't want to invest in a crypto project without understanding who's behind the scenes. Ask yourself these questions as well. Does the team have experience in tech, experience in crypto? Have they built successful projects in the past? Are they doxed, meaning their identities? Is it public or are they anonymous? Uh, Now, just to preface here as well, anonymous teams aren't always bad. Some great projects have been built that way, but transparency does add a layer of trust. Also, keep an eye on how active the team is. Are they regularly updating the community? Are they sticking to their roadmap? And are they building during bear markets when there is no hype? All right. I think that last question is very, very important to ask as well. Um, and finally, is the roadmap clear? Is it achievable? Every good crypto project should have a roadmap, a plan that shows what they're building and when they aim to deliver it, right? What you want to see is a clear and realistic roadmap. Some projects throw around big promises like we're going to, revolutionize gaming. We're building the next Ethereum. But when you look closer, they don't have much built, or the goals they list are super vague and far off, right? Uh, Now, where can you find this information? Uh, don't worry, there are some great resources to help you out. Firstly, Mudrex, right here on our platform, we do a lot of the hard work for you. When you check out tokens on Mudrex, you'll find key info like the project's use case, team, backgrounds, tokenomics, and other research insights as well. Uh, Other resources include Coin Market Cap and CoinGecko. These are two of the most widely used crypto data platforms. They also link to communities like Telegram, Discord, or Twitter. So you can actually dig deeper if you want to see what the community is saying for a particular project. Then lastly, I would say crypto Twitter and YouTube. Uh, while you should always take social media hype with a grain of salt, there are some great analysts who break things down. Just make sure to double check facts before acting on anything. All right. Now that we've done fundamental analysis, I'll be going on to tokenomics. Um, I know the word tokenomics sounds a little intimidating, but we're going to keep it simple and make it practical because this part, honestly, it can make or break your investment. You might find an altcoin with a solid use case, great team, and all the fundamentals that I've discussed. But if the tokenomics are weak, the price may never really take off, or worse, it could actually crash when you least expect it. So, what exactly is tokenomics? Basically, it is short for token economics. Uh, it's about understanding how a token works within its ecosystem and how its supply and demand might affect its price. Okay. In terms of tokenomics and the technical checks that I'd like everybody to make here, there are three main things: market cap versus fully diluted valuation. Uh, this is something that people overlook a lot and how it actually compares to FDV. Now, I want to clear up a common mistake I've seen many times, especially among newer investors. We often look at tokens price in dollars and assume it's cheap. Uh, For example, you see a token trading at 0.0001 cent. And the natural reaction is to be like, hey, this is a steal, and I can get millions if the token reaches just $1, right? Let's take Shiba Inu as an example. It's one of the most well-known tokens that trades at a fraction of a cent. People see that and go, I can buy a million SHIB tokens for less than $10. If it hits one, I'll be rich, right? But that's really not how it works. What really matters is market cap, not just the token price. The market cap tells you how much the entire token supply is currently worth. It's calculated by multiplying the current price of the token by how many tokens are in circulation. Now let's do some maths and actually see if a token is undervalued based on its market cap and how much money it would take for a specific token to reach a target price, right? To do this, I'm going to share my screen and take you to an interesting website called marketcapoff.com. This site basically lets you compare how a token's price would change if it had the same market cap of another coin, like Bitcoin, for example. All right. So let me go over to this website and show you exactly how you can use it as well. All right. So let's take the Shiba Inu example, and let's say someone is somehow it reached the market cap of Bitcoin, which is over $2 trillion right now. Even then, SHIB's price wouldn't be anywhere near $1. It would be a couple of cents. That's it. Uh, and even then, like when you look at the just look at the number of how much it would have to grow to even reach a bare minimum, right? 240x. And this really isn't realistic as well, right? Uh, you need to really pay attention here. That's why we're just not looking at price per token. It can be really misleading. Why is this the case? Because SHIB has a huge supply, hundreds of trillions of tokens. So even $1 trillion market cap gets spread super thin across all those tokens. That's why just looking at price per token isn't the way to go about it. A low price doesn't mean it's undervalued. It just means there are a lot of tokens in circulation. So here's the key takeaway here. Always look at the market cap, not just the price. And to take it a step further, check the FDV or fully diluted valuation. FDV shows what the market cap would be if all the tokens that will ever exist were released today, right? For example, maybe a token has a market cap of 50 million right now, which seems decent, but the FDV is 1 billion. That means only a small portion of the supply is currently in circulation, and a lot more tokens are still waiting to hit the market. That matters because when these tokens unlock, they could create a lot of sell side pressure, which might push the prices down very, very quickly, even if the project is solid. So before you jump into any altcoin, get into the habit of checking what is the current market cap, what is the FDV, and how big is the gap between the two. If the gap is massive, it's a signal to dig deeper and be cautious because there could be major dilution ahead. I would say if the FDV is 5 to 10 times higher than the current market cap, you need to be extra cautious, right? All right, now let's go back to the slides and go ahead with the session. All right. Okay. Next up here is let's talk about who owns the tokens. You can think of token distribution like company shares. If a small group of insiders like founders, early investors, or advisors hold a huge percentage of the supply, that's a potential red flag. Why? Because if they choose to sell, it can crash the price. It raises questions about fairness and decentralization, which is the whole point, right? It might indicate that the project is more about making a quick buck than building long-term value. So what should you look for? Try to find tokens where the supply is well distributed. That means a fair percentage goes to the community, A portion is set aside for development and also ecosystem growth. Insider allocations are reasonable and vested over time. We'll talk about that as well. You can usually find token distribution charts in the project's white paper or tokenomics section, and even on platforms like I mentioned, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko as well. Also, you can use blockchain explorers like EtherScan, SolScan for Solana to actually see which wallets are holding how much of the token. If one or two wallets hold 40 to 50% of the total supply, I would say stay away from that project. All right. Okay. Lastly, in this section, and super important, is the unlock schedule. Many crypto projects start by issuing a fixed number of tokens, but not all of them are released into the market right away. Some are locked for a period of time and gradually they get unlocked based on what's called a vesting schedule, right? This is especially true for tokens held by team members, early investors, and also strategic partners as well. Uh, why does this matter? Basically, when a large number of tokens get unlocked at once, especially if those tokens belong to insiders, it can lead to a sudden wave of selling pressure, which pushes the price down hard. Yeah. So that's that for the token supply distribution and also what you need to look at for tokenomics. Let's now go into the next portion as well of what you need to look at. Right. All right, perfect. So let's go on to the next one, which is on-chain data. And this is something that I particularly find very fascinating as well. And it really gives you insights on where a token might be headed. So this is a very key point that I want all of you to take down notes on. All right. So let's start with the basics. What is on-chain metrics? In simple terms, on-chain metrics are just data points that come directly from the blockchain. Since blockchains are transparent by design, you can literally see what's happening on the network in real time. How many wallets are being created, how much money is being moved around, how many people are interacting with that network, or also how much is being locked, borrowed, or lent on that network. It's all visible. This is something you simply cannot do with traditional finance. You can't see in real time how many users are actively using a bank's services, for example, or how many new accounts were opened last week. But with crypto, you absolutely you can, right? Now, why does this matter? Let's say a token's price has been following, right? It's been coming down every week and it just looks like there's no hope. Or maybe it's just been flat for months. Most people will look at this and assume that the project is gone, it's dead, let's move on, right? But what if, despite the low price, user activity is going up? What if more people are using the network, actually deploying capital and building on top of it? That's a huge sign that the market might be overlooking the project. And that's where you find undervalued projects, undervalued altcoins. Because eventually, and more often than not, the market catches up. And when it does, the price tends to reflect that growing adoption. This mismatch between rising activity and lagging price is one of the strongest signals that something might be undervalued, right? Now, let me just walk you through a few simple ones that are easy to track, even if you're not super technical, right? Firstly, it's active users or wallets. This one's pretty straightforward. How many people are actually using the blockchain? You can check daily active wallets, number of unique wallet addresses, growth in new wallet creation. For example, if a layer one blockchain is adding thousands of new wallets per day, even during a bear market, that's a really bullish sign. It shows people are actually adopting the network. But if your user numbers are flat or dropping, that's a warning sign that the project may be losing traction. Next is network activity. This basically refers to how much stuff is actually happening on the blockchain. Are people just holding the token or are they actually using the network, right? Here's what you can check. Basically, number of transactions per day, network fees generated. This is a big one. Higher fees usually mean more activity. So this is worth checking as well. Uh, you might see a project with a beautiful website, a strong sounding roadmap, and also an active marketing campaign. But if the network is quiet, that's a huge red flag. No one's using it. And that says a lot more than any sort of tweet or any fancy design ever could, right? On the flip side, if the network fees are rising, transactions are growing, and apps are getting traction, but the token price hasn't moved, that is your opportunity. That's when you need to act because it shows real adoption is happening under the surface, even if the market hasn't caught on yet. Okay, now finally, the last on-chain metric I want to talk about is TVL, or simply total value locked. Uh, it basically shows how much money, usually in dollars in USD, is currently deployed on the network, whether it's staked, loaned out, provided as liquidity, or otherwise locked up in protocols. If TVL is rising, it means people are trusting the platform with their capital. It's a strong, strong vote of confidence, right? For example, if a lending platform's token has dropped 40% in price, but TVL is up 50% over the same time period, that's a signal that people still believe in the project and are actively using it. Again, discrepancy or the mismatch between usage and price is where the alpha is. Now, the beauty of blockchain is that you don't need to guess. You can see the data in real time, it's all public. And to make your life easier, there are some amazing tools that help you visualize this data that I've discussed. Um, I'm sharing some of them with you now, and I definitely recommend bookmarking these. Artemis is one. It's brilliant for tracking blockchain user data, transaction volume, and also dev activity. Next is Token Terminal. It focuses on financial data for crypto project. Think of it like a Bloomberg for crypto. DApp Radar is another one. Lets you track how different dApps are performing, how many users they have, etc. DeFi Llama is another one, probably the best place to check for total value locked across DeFi. And finally, the block, specifically their data dashboard. Great for high level insights and charts, especially if you want to understand sector level trends as well. Okay, you don't need to check all of them every day, of course, but just spending time on a couple of these will already put you way ahead of the average retail investor. All right, cool. Now that we have on-chain out of the way, I will go ahead with the last um, homework that you all have to do before actually giving you the list of altcoins that are on my radar. Uh, Last one is technical analysis. We've covered a lot so far, fundamentals, tokenomics, on-chain. Now let's get on to this final piece of the puzzle. Uh, Now, I'm not going to throw a bunch of complex chart patterns or trading jargon at you. You don't need to be a full-time trader to get value from this. What we're doing here is just looking at price behavior to get a sense of where we are in the market cycle for that specific token and whether it might be undervalued from a price perspective. Okay, so let's break it down into three simple things that you really need to look at. Firstly, how far is the token from its all-time high or recent peaks? This one's easy to check and tells you a lot. Let's say a token hit an all-time high of $10 during the last bull run, and now it's trading at 1. That's simple. It's a 90% drop. Now, that doesn't automatically mean it's undervalued, but it does tell you this. It tells you that the market once thought that the token was worth $10, and if the fundamentals haven't changed, or even if they've improved, this kind of price drop could mean it's trading at a discount. A lot of long-term altcoin opportunities are found this way by identifying coins that are way off from their all-time highs. Yeah. Next, look for other signs that might suggest that it's oversold. One is called RSI, relative strength index. It basically is a tool that shows whether a token is being overbought or oversold. When RSI is usually below 30, it usually means the token is oversold. Too many people have sold it off, and it might be due for a sort of bounce. Another thing to watch is for volume spikes. If you suddenly see a big increase in trading volume after a long downtrend, that often means interest is picking up again, and maybe people are beginning to accumulate. And finally, look for trend reversals. Has the price been forming higher lows? Is it starting to consolidate sideways instead of continuing downwards? Uh, Again, these signs don't guarantee a reversal, of course, but they're useful hints that momentum might be shifting. Okay. Next up is, are we near or are we forming a sort of support zone, right? This is probably my favorite part of technical analysis. Support zones are price levels where the token has bounced multiple times in the past. In simple terms, it's where buyers tend to actually come in and say, all right, this is cheap. We're going to start accumulating here. If a token is back at a level where it's historically found support, or if it's just been trading sideways in a sort of tight range for weeks or months, that can be a sign that the bottom is forming. We usually call this the base formation, right? And this is a very important point. Smart money often enters during these base formations. They accumulate quietly while retail traders are still waiting for, those big green candles. And by the time the breakout comes, they're already positioned. So if you spot a good project that's trading near support, showing some volume, and may even be bouncing off RSI lows, that's a huge recipe for spotting something that could be technically undervalued. Okay. All right. Perfect. Let's now dive into the final segment of our session where I share my top undervalued altcoin picks. Remember, these selections are based on a careful assessment of risk versus reward and are not listed in any particular order. Okay, so let's kick things off with a name you all probably know, Ethereum. Now I know that this might not sound like your typical or undervalued altcoin pick, but ETH is seriously being slept on with regards to its potential. In terms of price, even though Ethereum has grown substantially over the past week and ever since May, it is still over 45% below its all-time high from 2021. That's when it was trading around $4,900 perspective. And just this year alone, it's almost 25% down. But here's where it gets really interesting. Take a look at the ETH to BTC chart. For those unfamiliar, this chart simply compares Ethereum's price performance relative to Bitcoin. If the chart is going up, it means ETH is outperforming BTC. If it's going down, BTC is doing better. Now, recently, ETH to BTC bounced from a very key historical base formation, which we discussed, right? A very key historical support level. Now, in previous cycles, ETH has bottomed and just begun a strong trend of outperformance. This bounce is significant because it signals that Ethereum, may be gearing up to outperform Bitcoin again, just as capital starts rotating back into altcoins. Now, apart from this, fundamentally, let's look at the fundamental angle now, right? It's still the largest ecosystem in crypto by far. The number of dApps, developer activity, the community, it's unmatched, right? And when it comes to TVL, total value locked, Ethereum still dominates by a long, long shot. It's not even close. Yeah. Next, there's also the institutional angle, which we often overlook, right? We have Ethereum spot ETFs now. They're approved, they're live, they're trading. That's a huge deal. Uh, it basically makes ETH more accessible to big money, retirement funds, and institutions as well. Even Donald Trump's own World Liberty Finance, his fund is holding over $19 million worth of ETH. Now, to be clear, you're probably not going to get a 10x or maybe even a 5x from Ethereum. And that's totally okay. Its market cap is already massive, and expecting crazy multiples from here would be unrealistic. But that's not the point. What you get with ETH is a strong risk to reward setup. It's got depth, it's got liquidity, adoption, and institutional support. And the technicals are showing that it's time for a breakout, right? All of these things make it less risky compared to most other altcoins. So essentially, while the upside may not be wild, the probability of solid returns with lower downside is much, much higher with Ethereum. So that's my first pick. And let's move on to the second one. All right. Next up, one of my personal favorites is Solana. Now, if you remember, Solana had an absolutely fantastic Q4 last year. It was one of the best performing large cap tokens during that stretch. But since then, it's taken a pretty decent fall from its all-time high of around $296. It's down by nearly 45%. And yeah, while the price has come down, the on-chain activity hasn't slowed at all. In fact, it's been growing. Um, we're seeing daily active addresses go up and transactions on the network keep climbing. So this is a clear indication that it isn't hype or speculation. People are actually using Solana, whether it's for DeFi, NFTs, payments, the network is still growing. We're also now starting to see institutional adoption scale up. Just recently, Canada approved the first Solana spot ETFs. They are live and trading already. And that's a huge step, not just for Solana, but for the entire altcoin space, right? Uh, Now, these ETFs aren't available in the US just yet, but there are signs that they may be coming in the short future, right? Big names like Fidelity, Franklin Templeton have already filed applications for Solana spot ETFs in the US. And if we get approval in the near future, that could change the game entirely. So here's how I'm looking at it and what you should do. Yes, Solana's price has dropped, but the network is more active than ever. Institutional interest is heating up, and ETF momentum is also building. So this is a fantastic opportunity to pick some up as well. Now, my altcoin pick for 3 and 4. We're going down the risk curve here. As we go lower market cap, the risk to reward ratio changes as well. Please keep that in mind. Higher the risk, higher the reward. Sui and Sonic is my next 3 and 4. These are my picks. Now, just like Solana, there are two other tokens that I have been DCAing into: Sui, Sonic, which is, for some of you, you might remember it as Phantom. Both of these chains have been showing insane on-chain growth lately. And I'm not just saying that casually. I'm talking about serious jumps in daily active addresses and total value locked. In fact, these are two projects that I've started to do a weekly SIP into and building up a small position bit by bit every week. And that's not something I do lightly as well. For me, these are long-term conviction plays. I see these coins doing multiples from here. So these are my picks for 3 and 4. All right. Last on the list, but definitely not least, is Bitenzo or Tau. Now, this one's a bit different from the rest of the altcoins we've actually talked about. It's what I'd call a sort of narrative play. And a narrative I have very, very high conviction in. We all know that AI is, changing everything from writing, design, customer service, everything, right? AI is becoming a core part of how the world is operating. And in crypto, the AI narrative is just getting started. And that's where Tau or Bitenzo comes in. In simple terms, Bitenzo is trying to decentralize AI. Right now, most of the powerful AI tools out there, like the ones you might be using now, are controlled by big tech companies. Bitenzo's goal is to sort of flip that model. It's building a network where anyone can contribute to AI training and in return earn rewards in the form of Tau tokens. Um, Think of it like this, right? Instead of AI knowledge being locked inside Google or OpenAI, Bitenzer is creating an open marketplace for machine learning where developers, contributors build together and also benefit together as well. And that's a pretty powerful idea. Now, from a fundamental standpoint, Tau is super interesting. The project isn't just riding the AI hype, it's got real tech, very, very active developer community, and a token model that actually incentivizes useful contributions to the network. And even from a price perspective, Tau is still down quite a bit from its all-time high. So while it's already gained a lot of traction, I still believe it's undervalued when you look at the bigger picture, especially considering where the AI and crypto narratives are going to go, right? So if you're looking for a long-term play that taps into one of the biggest trends in tech in general, Bitenzo is one of the key projects to keep an eye on. I've been watching it closely, and for me, this is definitely one of those high risk, high conviction bets that could really pay off if the narrative continues to grow, right? All right. Now, those are just a few tokens from my personal list that I am very, very bullish on. They all come from different sectors because some are safer bets like Ethereum, some have growing ecosystems like Solana, and others like Tau are, like I mentioned, strong narrative plays with long-term potential. But of course, if you're someone who's open to riskier but higher reward opportunities, there's a lot of value in looking at tokens within an ecosystem, right? Let me explain what I mean by that. I'm going to go over to CoinMarketCap and show you as well. Um, let's just take Radium firstly as an example. It's a DEX, decentralized exchange built on Solana. Now, when Solana gains momentum and starts attracting more users and liquidity, tokens like Radium usually ride that wave. Why? Because these projects are tightly integrated with the ecosystem's growth. If Solana pops off, if it grows, users will need some place to swap tokens, provide liquidity, and also trade. That's where Radium shines. And it's not just Radium. You'll find similar opportunities across almost every major chain. The key is knowing which layer one or layer two network is gaining traction, and then looking at the infrastructure tokens that support that growth. Let me take you to CoinMarketCap and show you exactly what I mean. Let's take an Ethereum project, for example, all right? So let's go ahead here. All right. So let's firstly look at Ethereum, all right? And we'll look at Ethereum's growth in the past 1 month or so, and we'll compare it to a project that's built on top of Ethereum. So Ethereum in itself has grown 58% over the past month. All right. Now let's look at a DeFi project that's built on top of Ethereum, right? There you go. This has outperformed Ethereum. It's 62% in the last month. And more often than not, most projects that are built on top of its foundational network will outpace that network, right? Now, there is a downside to this as well, which I need to be cautious about, and everybody should be cautious about, is that when there is a dip in the foundational network, these projects often dip harder, right? So that is the risk to reward that you need to keep in mind when looking at these plays as well. All right. Ethereum is one example. I can take so many other examples. If we go into Sui, right? Sui has been one of the most uh, talked about chains this past month. It's grown by 81%, right? Now, if we look at some projects within Sui, for example, let's look at Deep Book Protocol. And there you go. Deep Book Protocol is basically a decentralized exchange that's being built on top of Sui, right? And this has outperformed the foundational layer, right? So this has done 106% over the past month. The best way to find these sort of projects is by going into their ecosystems, go into Sui's ecosystems, see what is being built on top of that ecosystem. The easiest way to do that is right here on CoinMarketCap. So if you want to go and look at Solana's ecosystem, just click on Solana. This is the top Solana ecosystem tokens, and just have a scroll through these projects, do all of the analysis that I've spoken about today. And more often than not, when Solana rises, you're going to find these tokens really outperform Solana. Even the meme coins, right? Even the meme coins will outperform, right? So that is something that I really want to stress on. And let's just close off the session with that. All right. So let me go ahead and get back to the presentation. All right. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, it's really not about chasing pumps or guessing what will go viral. It's about taking a balanced approach. Look at the fundamentals, tokenomics, everything that we've discussed today, and that also the technical setups to find authentic, undervalued, and high potential altcoins. Uh, if you have stuck with me till this point, I want to say a massive thank you. I hope this session gave you a clear framework to spot altcoins that aren't cheap, but genuinely underpriced for what they offer. Uh, Before I move on to any questions that you may have, I just want to uh, mention this as well. We at Mudrex want to give back to our community. And for any first-time users, we have a special promo code wherein users investing 5,000 rupees for the first time on our platform will receive 500 rupees worth of Bitcoin deposited into your account on our behalf. So use the code webinar500 to avail this offer. All right, cool. Now, with that out of the way, I want to just open the floor to any questions that you may have. Feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. All right, this is your time. You can also ask specific projects that you want to any answers to, any sort of projects that you have on your watch list but not sure. I could provide some insights into that as well. All right. So let me see. Okay, so Rajat has a question on how do I do SIP in Sui or Sonic? Cool. Yeah. So I usually use Mudrex as well as the platform, and we have SIPs for Sui and Sonic. All of the coins that I have mentioned today, it's listed and live on Mudrex. And I've just set up an SIP of a small amount of capital um, into these two projects. It's a very simple way of doing it on Mudrex as well. Um, will Pi will PiCoin come into Mudrex? Uh, Kushal, where if it does, we will definitely keep you involved. Right now, it's not in the roadmap, but please join our Telegram community and also look out for Twitter for all our live listings. Usually, we do listings every week, Wednesday or Thursday, and just keep an eye out for this week's coin listings as well. Uh, Siddharth, okay, Akash Network, that's a great project. That's an AI project. It is in the pipeline. And of course, like I just mentioned, once we do have AKT listed, we will let you all know as well. Okay, I see some hands being raised as well. Praveen, uh, all right, you can go ahead and talk, Praveen. You can unmute yourself and
Yes,
ask the
sir.
question anytime.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
Yes, Praveen.
जी गुड इवनिंग
Good evening, Praveen.
जी मैं सर ये जानना चाहता हूँ सोलाना का फ्यूचर क्या है
Mm-hmm. Okay.
मतलब सोलाना का फ्यूचर क्या है सर एक सोलाना में सर कोई सोलाना सबमिट करके कोई टोकन आया हुआ है क्या
Yeah, so see, the thing is with Solana has very good potential because there are many active users now on the platform, on the
जी
network.
जी
that
जी
is growing consistently over the past year. Um, and one more reason I would say is that there is huge institutional awareness on Solana now. Just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, the next project that these institutions are looking at is Solana, right?
जी
And
जी
the third point I want to say is the ecosystem, which I mentioned, right? There is a
जी
big ecosystem that is being built on top of Solana. A lot of money is coming into that ecosystem, which naturally will push up the price of Solana in the long term. But always, like I mentioned, treat Solana as a long-term investment. It has tremendous potential. So if you are invested in Solana, I would say continue to hold it because as the crypto bull run continues, I don't think we're anywhere close to the bull run being finished for at least this market cycle. Solana is a very, very good risk to reward coin to hold.
ये सर एक चीज मैं जानना था, ये एक सवाल मेरा ये था सर कि बुल रन कब तक आएगा, और प्लस
Mhm.
सोलाना में सोलाना सबमिट नाम का कोई अभी वो आया हुआ है स्टेकिंग, सोलाना
Mhm.
सबमिट नाम का मैंने स्टेक किया हुआ उसमें 3 लाख रुपए कॉइन, वो
Mhm.
सोलाना सबमिट के नाम से, उसका क्या फ्यूचर है मैं जानना चाहता था।
Okay. So Solana Summit, you're talking about the conference, right?
नहीं नहीं, सोलाना कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं सर, सोलाना सबमिट टोकन है कोई, सोलाना
Oh,
का कोई टोकन है सोलाना सबमिट करके, फैंटम वॉलेट में है।
okay. So I am not aware of this token, but
जी
if it is within the Solana ecosystem, I would say again, I'm not aware of this particular project, but
जी
in case, if it is a very low market cap, if it's a very new token, I would suggest, like I said, just do a little bit of research on that project. Usually, when the market cap is low, volatility can be very, very high. So
हम्म,
just play it safe and always have an allocation towards larger cap cryptos to start out with, which have more traction, more users, and then slowly and steadily, like I said, now right now I am focusing on Sui and Sonic, and then you can go down the market cap. Obviously it'll become riskier, but the rewards of course will be higher as well, but don't put too much
जी
capital into those projects also.
जी ओके ओके सर,
Yeah.
ये सर मैं पूछा था बुल रन कब तक आ सकता है, एक्सपेक्टेड कब तक है।
Okay, so that's a good question. Right now, the bull run is it's still active. I would say, according to like historical analysis, uh, I would say that the bull run would last till November, December of this year. It could even go on till Q1 of next year. But from historical perspective, when we analyze Bitcoin's bull run, and usually altcoins follow Bitcoin's price action. You can see the bull run last till about November, December, max till about February. But this phase right now, from May till then, is usually what we call the euphoric phase or the parabolic phase when prices skyrocket. Like it goes really fast, really quick. People miss out on trades. This is when retail investors come in and push the prices up very, very fast. So right now is that point where things are shifting, the momentum is shifting. One thing that I want everybody to know over here is that you also need to look at the global economic factors because now crypto has become a global asset. It's become a very, legitimized asset class as well. And when anything global happens, crypto is going to react to it. One of the biggest factors that I want everybody to pay attention to is the trade tariffs that Donald Trump and the US have imposed, how that is going to play out next month. We need to keep an eye on that. And then also the US interest rates, all right? The Fed interest rates. If they cut interest rates next month in June, that will be a huge reason for igniting this crypto bull run. Okay. So these are
जी
two
जी
things that will definitely influence the bull run. But if those things go to plan, I would say till November, till February, around those regions, you can expect the bull run.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
Yes, yes, Praveen.
जी जी थैंक यू।
Okay. Okay, so Siddharth has asked, my altcoin portfolio is down by 15% currently. Should I add coins to average it or wait for some time? So Siddharth, I would like to ask as well, what coins have you currently invested in? And maybe if I know that, I could perhaps give you a little bit more clarity on whether you should average in or wait. Okay, Satish, I see your okay, Satish, I see that your hand is raised.
Yeah.
You are
Can you just please explain the crypto cycle, please? Usually, what is the duration of this cycle? How many years it will take to complete one cycle?
got it. So historically, the Bitcoin cycle is what has influenced the entire crypto market. Okay. Ideally, the crypto market goes through a 4-year cycle, right? And it is influenced by something that's called the Bitcoin halving, right? Usually after the halving and 1 year after the halving is when we see a sort of blow off top, or what I was mentioning, like the parabolic phase, right? And since the halving was last year, we could usually see a range from 12 to 16 to 18 months after the halving where we'll see a bull run. So right now the bull run has already started. It has gone through a phase of consolidation over the past few months, but right now what is the driving factor for the bull run in crypto is macro factors. So like I said, this sector has grown a lot. It's become a huge sector with huge money that's coming in, and anything global will impact this market, right? But in terms of the historical performance, historical analysis, we usually see a bull run that is typically for 2 years, and then we'll see a 2 years of price consolidation and a year where prices go down for a bear market, right? But like I said again, Bitcoin, let's just take Bitcoin as an example now. Bitcoin is a established asset class now, and it has grown significantly because of the spot ETFs. Huge money have entered. So you cannot expect Bitcoin to have those major dips again like before. You used to see Bitcoin go down like 60, 70%. I am I would be very surprised if Bitcoin falls even 50% next bear market, because these funds just have too much money invested in that asset. But that being said, altcoins, they will act, um, you know, typically they drop a lot more than Bitcoin because of their market cap as well. So ideally, I would say that the bull run is still in effect, and it is going to be there till around October, November, Jan. Those are the times that I'm expecting for a bull run top. And from there on, we could see a sort of consolidation and perhaps price declines as well.
One more question.
Yeah.
Solexi is an alternative for Solana. That is what I read. How to purchase Solex? Whether it is possible from Mudrex,
Which coin, sir?
Solex, Solx, Solex.
Oh,
Still, it is,
Solex. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So Solex is I think it's a recently listed coins on other exchanges right now. But again, Solex, since it has really high volatility and the market cap is still very low, we do a very strict vetting procedure before we get any sort of coins listed on our platform. So we'll need to see the liquidity on this token before we can actually make it live. But in terms of if you're looking to gain exposure to that token, use like resources like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. Usually they'll have a section that says markets near the token, and you can see where it's listed. And from there, you can go ahead and trade. But again, I would say play it safe there because it's a very new coin and it's highly volatile, right? So yeah, I would say just look into that, look into the fundamentals as well, and then you can go from there.
Where we can get the user case details of this, what exactly they are doing, where it is invested, all these
Hmm.
details, in
Hmm.
which web will be able to get all those details.
Yeah, you'll be able to get this detail again on CoinMarketCap. If you just type in on the search bar the token that you're looking for, it'll give you all of the details. It'll give you also the team behind the project, the social media, that if you want to go and check their socials and their community. And also, usually most of the tokens will also have the white paper. So the white paper will give you an overview of what the project is, what the roadmap is looking like. So the best place to do that is to go over to CoinMarketCap and just search for the token that you're looking to do some research on.
Is it wise to invest in individual coins, or we are having group of coins, no, like 5 coins together? It is getting listed. Whether which is the one for the person who is an entrant, which is the one you will suggest?
Right. So for beginners, I would say coin sets, because it just makes the process of investing a lot more easier. One click and you get a diversified portfolio. Always, I would suggest having a diversified portfolio, especially in a bull run. Um, but if you're looking for other like narrative plays, uh, and if you're a little bit more experienced in terms of actually spotting these coins, then I would say have a mix, have a coin set, have like a blue chip coin set, which has the top five cryptocurrencies. And then maybe you can invest in one coin that you don't have to have your allocation small to that coin, because sometimes what happens is uh, you'll have a small percentage allocated to a coin at the start, and when the bull run actually comes back, or it really goes to that heightened euphoric phase, um, sometimes those small percentages coins tends to become like one of your leading coins, because of how much it has grown, right? So I would say have a mix. If you're a beginner, just stick to coin sets. It's a safe way of investing in cryptocurrencies as well. And yeah, stick to the blue chip cryptos also. That's what I would say.
Which is the DeFi where I can just get the highest returns actually, DeFi?
In DeFi, okay. So I would say right now, Aave is having very good returns. Look into Aave, look into also I would say Maker. Maker has some good returns on. If you're looking for just stable returns on your stable coins, you can't go wrong with Aave or Maker. So those are the best places to park your funds if you're looking for just you know crypto-based interest.
What is the return I can expect from them actually?
So if you're looking for Aave right now, I would say you'd get around, I think 11% is what the last thing is. But again, this is something that, fluctuates. It's not like a stable return or anything like that. But again, that being said, it's safe, it's decentralized, and you can't go wrong with Aave. But just look into this again. From the last time I checked, I think Aave was offering around 11 to 12% interest on your stables.
Can I just spell it? Aave.
It is AAVE.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, Okay, Mudit has asked a question as well. Uh, I'm novice to this. What would you suggest? Which is better, uh, futures trading versus spot/DCA? Okay. So Mudit, I would like to also understand if you've done futures trading in the past in the, stock market, in equities or anywhere. That way I would be able to give you some suggestion there. Spot/DCA, you cannot go wrong. DCA is the best strategy. I've been doing it for over 6 years now. Of course, I started off with Bitcoin, very small amount, and the returns, you can actually use a website called Upbit, I think. Let me just have a look. I'll share that with you as well. You'll be able to see the power of DCA in crypto with that website. Uphold, I think it's called. Yeah, just type in Uphold Crypto DCA, and you'll be able to calculate the returns on a DCA strategy on any of the major cryptocurrencies. And you will be mind blown by just how powerful a weekly DCA is, or even a monthly DCA is, right? You can't go wrong with a spot/DCA. Of course, if you do your research and stick to the blue chips. This sector is only growing, so that is the best way. But in terms of futures trading, if you have experience in futures trading in the past and you've used leverage, um, you can do that. Definitely much more risk given the volatility in crypto, but the returns are going to be a lot higher. In terms of leverage, we offer up to 100x leverage on Mudrex, but I would not suggest going for that much leverage, especially if you're a beginner. And even for pros, timing the market with 100x leverage is not safe at all. But even if you take a 3x, 2x leverage, would be a safe bet in crypto, and especially for the blue chip cryptocurrencies. I would highly suggest, if you are looking to get into futures trading, to join our Telegram community. We actually put out daily trade signals as well with around 80% accuracy. So it really helps you start trading crypto futures. And I would definitely recommend you follow us there, and you can get started with your futures trading journey on Mudrex. All right. But if you're looking for a long-term strategy, spot/DCA is the way. Okay. So Siddharth, I see that you've put in your altcoin portfolio. Okay. So I see that you have some Arbitrum, Tau, ICP, XRP, HBAR, VET, Avalanche, Sandbox, GRD. Okay, that's a good list of altcoins. All right. So I would say, again, this is a very good diversified portfolio, and it taps into several narratives. Um, but there are some projects out here which I would recommend not averaging into, simply because of um, the narrative, and also the user growth in those projects. Sandbox was a huge gaming project in 2021. I had a bit of Sandbox and Mana as well back then. But Sandbox and Mana just don't have the narrative in its favor anymore. There are other gaming projects, like I see IMX. IMX is great. Um, there are other ones as well that I would. Oh, you have Gala as well. So Gala and IMX are the ones that I would be looking at in the gaming sector, because they still have great traction. Um, in terms of averaging, I would say allocate most of your capital into higher conviction plays like Tau, like I mentioned today, XRP, because it's established and there's a big narrative as well there. And yeah, and I would say AVAX as well, because AVAX is a great layer one network. And when the bull market picks up more steam, you can expect layer ones like AVAX, Solana, Sui to outperform as well. So I would say these projects I would be averaging into. But again, I would definitely recommend you to do your own research, and that way you can actually allocate your portfolio and customize your portfolio the way you want as well. That would be my suggestion. All right. If there aren't any other questions, I will close the session for today, and we will have another session very shortly as well. The next session will likely be a more futures-based session, how to get started with futures trading, the best strategies for futures, how to manage risk as well. So I would definitely recommend all of you to join that session, especially if you're looking to get started with leverage and futures within the crypto space. On that note, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with me, and all the best for all of your trading endeavors, and you're investing in crypto. This space is growing at a rapid rate, and we are at an opportune time to get into the markets. So keep an eye on it, keep an eye on our space, and join our community as well. Thank you, everyone, and have a great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Praveen, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you.
जी जी, thank you.